Hello, good morning, friends. You know, one of the biggest myths about hospice is that once you go onto hospice services, you never come off. And that's simply not true. Hello, my name is Michelle Ledbetter. I am a registered nurse. I am hospice and palliative care certified, and I've been doing nursing for a little over 3 decades, 2 of those decades in hospice and palliative care. And here on this channel, what we do is we talk about life, death, answer any questions that people might have, because the focus here is to reduce fear around death and dying by giving you guys facts and information that will hopefully help achieve that goal. You know, as a hospice nurse, I've discharged many patients from hospice. Sometimes people qualify because they're going through a serious decline, and then they receive expert symptom management. Unnecessary medications may be reduced once they go on hospice, and they get excellent nursing care, right? And support, and then they begin to improve. Hospice patients are recertified for eligibility for the first 2 benefit periods, and those are 90 days each. So in 90 days after being admitted, a nurse is going to come to your home. They're going to do an assessment. They're going to see if you are continuing to show signs of decline based on criteria for hospice eligibility. And if you are, they take that back to where they have a meeting and they will discuss your case, and you will, if you still are declining and still need support from hospice services, you will continue to be eligible. However, Medicare eligibility criteria also shows that there is terminal illness progression. That's when we get to stay, right? And if there is no qualifier, if say you have come out of this crisis situation, you get onto hospice, and many times we remove medications that are no longer serving comfort and are no longer really helping as far as long-term, such as cholesterol medication. That's a long-term sort of thing that coming off that medication, the liver doesn't have to process it. It doesn't work as hard. So yes, we do bring people off some of their traditional routine medications, but only medications that affect if it interferes with the quality of life in any way, shape, or form. We don't come off blood pressure medications. We don't come off of anticoagulant. Well, let me take that back. We do. Sometimes people will be put on an anticoagulant that cost a little more money, and so hospice does tend to use the cheaper medications. And so when we start to bring people off medications, they get better. And if they no longer qualified, they're discharged from hospice. In fact, keeping someone on hospice who is no longer meeting the requirements is inappropriate and can be considered Medicare fraud. And I'm going to tell you, I have worked for those agencies, unfortunately. Here's the important part. If their disease progression, again, in the future, meets criteria for hospice, they can return back to hospice. So once you are on hospice, you receive services. If you do not meet criteria to continue services, showing decline in that recertification period, Medicare guidelines say that we must discharge you, but you're always welcome to come back. Hospice isn't a one-time decision. It's based on your medical condition. So what I'd like to know is, have you ever known of somebody who has graduated from hospice? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments. If you find the information that we share here on this channel helpful in reducing some of the fear around dying and death, or it helps you care for your loved one and helps you understand the process of hospice and end of life, I would so appreciate if you would share my information so that I can reach a larger audience and continue to provide end of life support for those who are moving through it. Thank you so much for being here with me, and until we meet again, be kind to one another.